today is going to be focused on shoulder opening and shoulder strengthening. And then we'll just start with some breath work. All right, so go ahead and close down the eyes. Let's take a couple grounding breaths. So inhale through the nose, fill all the way up. Take a little pause at the top of the inhale and then let it go through the mouth. And just let that exhale ground you down, and let the inhale lift you up through the crown of the head, lengthening the spine, and one more open mouth exhale. Just make this a real grounding, settling breath. And then start to breathe in and out through the nose. And as we breathe in and out through the nose and we settle into our space, just work toward lengthening the inhale and the exhale, evening out the in-breath and the out-breath. And we'll take 5 more breaths here. Continue to soften through the forehead, relax the jaw, let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Complete the exhale here. And then continue with this deep Ujjayi breathing, and on the inhale, once again, lengthen through the crown of the head, and as we exhale, we're just going to release that right ear toward the right shoulder. Hold here, actively press the left shoulder down to the earth, maybe even reaching out through the left fingertips. And then last option, we can take the right hand on top of the head and gently guide the ear closer to the shoulder. So really deep stretch in the left side of the neck. And then come back through neutral and switch sides. So take the left shoulder toward the left ear, and then actively press the right shoulder down toward the ground, maybe taking the right fingertips off to the right, and maybe taking the left hand onto the head, and then creating a little more space in the right side, just gently pressing the left ear toward the left shoulder. And then release, coming back to neutral. Take both hands toward the floor and then just start to jut the chin slightly forward and then bring it down toward the chest. So you're going to feel a deep stretch, not only in the back of the neck, but in the upper back as well. Take one more full breath here. And then from here, you can take the hands back onto the knees and then start to roll the head side to side, maybe all the way around in full circles if you want, otherwise just in half neck rolls. If we're doing full neck rolls, make sure we switch directions now and go in the opposite direction, otherwise just continue with your half neck rolls. And then we'll meet back at center. On the next inhale, reach both arms up overhead, and we're going to take this into a twist. So left hand onto right knee, right hand out behind. An option here to start to reach that right hand toward the left hip, and then draw that right shoulder further open. Otherwise, just have that right hand resting on the ground. Take one more full deep belly breath. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, switch sides. So right hand's gonna come to the left knee. Left hand's gonna come out behind. Option to reach that left hand for the right hip and open through the left shoulder as we look out over the left shoulder. One more full belly breath here. Let the belly expand on the inhale and draw the belly button back toward the spine on the exhale. Both arms up overhead, inhale. And for chest expansion, take the hands behind the back. Yoga Mudra, and release the hands. Press the fists down, open through the chest, draw those shoulders back, and then hinge at the hips, forward fold. We're gonna press the fists up and over the back of the head, and then press the palms towards one another. Nice tight squeeze, opening up through the shoulders. And then inhale, come back to center. If legs are crossed one in front of the other, switch the cross of the legs, and then we're gonna switch the cross of the hands. So the opposite thumb is on top, and we're gonna do one more chest expansion here. So it's probably gonna feel awkward in the legs, awkward in the hands, that's fine. Inhale, open through the chest, and exhale, forward fold. So once again, press the palms of the hands towards one another, release the forehead toward the floor, just opening through the shoulders. And then inhale with a flat back, come all the way back up. Release the hands. And then make your way into tabletop position. Taking the shoulders right over the wrists and the hips right over the knees. We'll take 3 rounds of cat-cow at your own pace with your own breath. So as we inhale, we release the belly down, lift through the tailbone and lift through the crown of the head. And with the breath, as we exhale, we're gonna round, open up through the upper back, lift and separate your shoulder blades. 2 more rounds. Make your way back to a neutral tabletop position. Nice flat back here. We're gonna take thread the needle. So inhale, lift that left arm up. And then exhale, slide the left arm behind the right, come onto left shoulder and left ear, but keep the hips lifted. Now you have the option here, if you feel stable, to reach that right arm up and around for the left hip. Once again, taking a little bit of a bind here, option to open that right shoulder a little bit more. And then unwind, release, come all the way up on the inhale, and release left hand to the mat. And we'll switch sides. So inhale the right arm high, slide that right arm behind the left, come onto right shoulder and right ear. Stay right here with the hips lifted over the knees, or take that left hand up and reach around for the right hip, taking a bind here, opening through that left shoulder, taking the gaze up toward the sky. And then unwind that left arm, place it on the floor, and inhale, unwind the right arm, and release back to tabletop position. Okay, moving into spinal balance here. Extend that right arm forward and the left leg back. We're gonna take the quad and shoulder opener. So bend that left leg, take the right hand, reach around for the inside of the foot. Start to press the foot into the hand and lift through the crown of the head. The more we kick the foot, the more we're gonna open through the right shoulder. Good, and come back to spinal balance first. So nice, slow extension, fingertips to toes, and then release, and we'll switch sides. So left arm forward, right leg back, square off the hips, square off the shoulders, and then bend that right leg, take the left hand, reach around for the inside of the foot, start to kick the foot into the hand, lift through the crown of the head, and let that kick of the foot open the left shoulder. Slowly extend back to spinal balance. Fingertips to toes, big long line, and then release. Back to tabletop position. Tuck all 10 toes under, lift the hips high up and back, and come into downward facing dog. Find some movement here in downward facing dog. Getting to pedal through the feet, spreading nice and wide through the hands. Releasing head, elongating through the neck. Good, you're good. We'll take 3 more breaths here in downward facing dog. Complete the exhale, and then on the inhale, lift the right leg high, open the hip, bend the leg. Good, and then option to look out underneath that shoulder. Take 1 more full breath here. And then on the next inhale, square off the hips, straighten the leg, and then exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose, step through, and release that back knee down onto the floor. You can have the toes tucked under or foot flat to the floor. Lift both arms up overhead, connect the palms of the hands, cross the thumbs, take the thumbs to the back of the head. Start to lift through the elbows, lift through the chest. So just think of this as an upper back bend, opening through the shoulders. Take 1 more breath. Okay, extend the arms up overhead, release the hands to the mat. Keep the left hand on the mat and reach the right arm up for a twist. And then once again, option here to take that bind. So start to take that right hand. You can either cactus the arm or reach around for the right hip and open through the right, or the left hip, sorry, and open through the right shoulder. Good, and then unwind, release, and we'll take half splits pose, stretching through the right hamstring. So take that left hip over the left knee or left hip to the left heel, and then just forward fold over the right leg. So you should feel a stretch in your right hamstring. Take one more breath here. Good. Come all the way back to a low lunge, so we'll lift that back knee off the floor, and then step the left foot to meet the right, stay low in your squat, and inhale up to Utkatasana chair pose. Good, so make sure that the heels are aligned right behind the toes, sit the weight back in the heels, lift through the fingertips. So this should feel like some work in the shoulders, building a little bit of heat here, and then obviously working through the hips and the legs. Okay, take one more inhale here, exhale, hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, stay low in your squat. Press the fists down for another chest expansion, and now forward fold. So getting the hamstring stretch and another shoulder opener. And feel free to wiggle through the legs here. Maybe sway those arms side to side. We'll take one more full breath here. And release the hands to the earth. Inhale, come up to a flat back for monkey pose. Exhale, forward fold. On the next inhale, rise all the way up to tall mountain. Bring the hands to the heart. And then just close the eyes here for 3 breaths. So really ground down through your feet, spread your toes nice and wide. This is too challenging on the balance, just gently open the eyes and find a place to gaze, but engage through your quads, engage through your core for one last inhale. Exhale, open the eyes, hands come down toward the floor. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Encircle your left wrist with your right fingertips. We're gonna side bend to the right. Use your right arm to actively pull your fingertips a little bit further over to increase the stretch in your left side. Keep the head in line with the spine and come back through center. Encircle your right wrist with your left hand and side bend to the left. And then actively use your left arm to increase the stretch in your right side. Keep your head in line with your spine. Inhale back to center. Exhale, cactus your arms. Lift your chest, pull your elbows down. Open through your shoulders, open through your throat. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way down with a flat back. Inhale, monkey, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Hold plank pose for 3 breaths. Modification always to place the knees onto the floor. 2 more breaths. Last inhale. And exhale, shift forward, lower all the way down onto your mat. Good. Zip up your legs, toes, heels, and thighs touch. Take your hands behind your back for another chest expansion. Interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift your chest off the floor. Good, now breathe here. Option to lift your feet off the floor. Hold here. Keep your head in line with the spine so your gaze is neutral. Down toward the floor a little bit past the front of your mat. Take one more inhale. Exhale, release. Place your hands under your shoulders and press all the way back to child's pose. So hips to heels, but keep your elbows and your upper arms lifted off the mat. So this is a very active child's pose. I want you to feel this stretch in your shoulders and in your chest. Take one more full breath here. And let's return to downward facing dog. So 3 more breaths here, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg high on the inhale, open your hip, bend the leg. Let the foot hang heavy toward the floor. Feel that stretch all the way down through your left side, all the way up to your left shoulder, and then straighten out the leg. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose. Tuck it in, engage through your core. Inhale, 3-legged dog, And exhale, knee to nose, step through. Release your back knee onto the floor. Toes can stay tucked or foot flat. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Find the opposite cross of the thumbs this time, the awkward cross probably. Thumbs to the back of your head. Upper back bend, so start to lift your chest, press your elbows up, maybe take the gaze up. Take 2 more breaths here. Last inhale. Exhale, come forward, reach your arms up overhead, release. Right hand stays on the floor, twisting lunge, so bring that left arm up and then option either to cactus the arm or reach that left hand toward the right hip, roll the left shoulder open. Take 1 more full breath here. Unwind if you're bound, release, half split, straighten through the left leg, and then option to take that right heel toward the right hip or keep the right hip over the right knee. Okay, forward fold over the left leg, just focusing on the hamstring stretch. So whichever variation you've chosen, just reach continuously the forehead toward the toes. And then we're gonna return to low lunge. So come forward, lift that back knee off the floor, step your right foot to meet your left, keep the hips low, inhale, chair pose. Exhale here. Inhale, hands to heart, stand up. Exhale, mountain pose. Okay, let's do some sun salutations. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, monkey pose. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands. Inhale, step back, plank pose. And then exhale, lower halfway or all the way down. Chaturanga arms, elbows stay in. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 breath. Complete your exhale. Look forward. We'll pick up the pace. So inhale, step or float to the front of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. On the inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey. And then exhale, step or float back through chaturanga. Lower halfway or all the way down. Your inhale breath is going to be upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 full breath. Look forward, inhale, step or float to the front of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tall mountain. So breath to movement at your own pace. Exhale, forward fold. We just want to get the blood pumping, the heart beating. Halfway lift, inhale. And chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing dog on the inhale. And downward facing dog on the exhale. 1 breath. And just 1 more time through. So look forward, inhale, step or float. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Last full breath. Inhale, take that right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Squeeze it in. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose and step through. Good, get that right knee right over the right ankle. Keep your left heel off the floor and rise up, crescent lunge. Good, hold here. Just drop that tailbone down. Start to straighten through that back leg. Keep that right knee right over the right heel. And then exhale, open up to warrior 2. Hold here, strong in your warrior 2 legs. And we're gonna take the right arm up and over. Take your left hand on top of your right elbow. Good. Keep your shoulders open to the side. Hold here for 1 more breath. With the arms in this position, we're gonna start to side bend to the left. Okay, so it's kind of like a reverse warrior. Big stretch through your right ribs. and then stay open in your side bend, and then take that left hand to the floor, right hand extends up and back. Good, really nice transitions. And then come all the way down, low lunge. Take it through a vinyasa if you'd like, step back plank, lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog on the inhale, downward facing dog on the exhale. One more full breath here. Take that left leg high, inhale, step through low lunge. Nice and slow, rise up to crescent lunge. Hold here for 3 breaths. Get low in your legs, relax the shoulders away from the ears, and then spiral those pinky fingers in. Really active through the fingertips here. Take one more inhale, and exhale, open up. Warrior 2. Nice strong warrior 2 legs. Draw that tailbone down. And then draw that left knee toward the left pinky toe so you can see your left big toe. Good, left arm comes up and over. Take your right hand onto your left elbow. Hold here, keep your shoulders open to the side. Stay super strong in that left leg so we're low in our lunge. As if you're going into reverse warrior, start to side bend to the right. So you're gonna feel a big stretch in your left ribs, your left shoulder, and then take that right hand, reverse warrior, down to your back leg, and then extend that left arm up and back. Nice extension, and then come down, low lunge. Step back plank pose, and then lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog on the inhale, and downward facing dog on the exhale. Now drop the knees to the mat. Keep the hips right over the knees. So for Anahatasana, melting heart pose, start to walk your hands forward and to the edges of your mat. Sink your chest to the floor. Keep your hips high. Good. Really work toward getting that chest closer, forehead releases. Big stretch in your shoulders. Another breath. Good, and start to walk your hands back. We're gonna come into Dolphin Pose, which is a great shoulder strengthener and stretch. So come down onto your forearms. You have 2 options. If you can keep your forearms parallel to one another, stay here. Otherwise, take your hands and interlace your fingers, okay? So 2 choices. And then come back, tuck your toes under, just like we're doing downward facing dog. Lift the hips high up and back, release the heels down toward the earth. So you should feel your shoulders working to hold your elbows steady, but your neck is nice and loose, so you're gazing back toward your toes. Continue to keep those hips high. All right, so you're probably gonna have to adjust your feet and take them back about a step. And then from here, we're gonna shift forward to forearm plank. Good, yes, so make any adjustments that we need to. So your shoulders, I'm gonna make an adjustment here, should be right over your elbows. Okay, getting a nice strong core work here. Option to drop the knees to the floor. And then we're gonna return to Dolphin Pose. So lift your hips high, maybe walk your feet in a foot. Hold here, and we're just gonna do that one more time. So hang in there, really working the shoulders here, and then we'll stretch them. Walk the feet back, come forward, forearm plank. Shoulders right over the elbows, working the core, working the shoulders. Continue to breathe. Keep your breath nice and slow and steady. Good. And then come back to Dolphin Pose. We're just gonna walk your feet in, hold it for 2 more breaths, last push. And release. Good job. Go ahead and come to a seat, grab a quick sip of water. All right, so that was a lot of work for the shoulders. We're gonna do some stretches for the shoulders, and then we'll return to our standing sequence. Bless you. Go ahead and take hold of your strap. Come back into a seated position. So once again, sit on a block if it's uncomfortable to be seated in the hips. We're gonna take the strap nice and long. Reach your strap up overhead. Okay, so you are gonna have to choose for yourself how wide the grip is, okay? It's gonna be different for everyone depending on the tightness of your shoulders. All right, so we're just gonna start to bring the strap back behind us, all the way down toward the hips, but keep your arms straight, okay? Then all the way back up. Just feel this nice stretch here. Keep the arms straight, and go ahead and adjust the length of your strap as much as needed. Keep a tight grip on the strap as you bring it forward, so you're using some arm strength here. Okay, straight arms, come all the way back up, and behind. So I'm gonna shorten my length a little bit. So make any adjustments you need. Oh yeah, see now I'm really feeling it. So play around with your strap. This is something you can do at home. Get a really nice active stretch in your shoulders, okay? Not just a passive stretch, an active stretch. So keep your arms pulling taut on your strap. We'll just do one more round. Yeah, so I have pretty tight shoulders, and I really feel that when I come up and around. The closer your arms are together, your hands are toward each other, you might feel it a little bit more coming up and over the head. Good, and then we'll just come all the way back to front. Good. All right, so we're gonna add a hip stretch with our shoulder stretch. Keep your strap handy if you need it, and we're gonna take cow face, legs and arms, okay? So Cowface Pose. Bring your left knee to front and center. Right knee is gonna stack on top of left. So again, if this is too much on the hips, go ahead and prop yourself up on a block. And then we're gonna take Cowface Arms. So right hand comes up and over. We can do the same thing we did in our warrior. Left hand to the elbow. You can take a strap, hold on to the strap, or if you can meet your hands behind your back, so this is how the strap would look. You can walk your hands up the strap, or if you can take the clasp, the bind, go ahead and bind your hands. Sit up tall so you have a straight spine, and hold here for 5 breaths. If the hips are open, you want to take it further into the hips, you can forward fold. That's always an option as well. Just coming forward, hinging at the hips. Two more breaths wherever you are. If you're folded forward, release. Keep your legs as they are and release your arms, and take your left arm across the center of your body. Take your right hand either to your left elbow or left forearm, and then just hug your arm in tight. Work toward a straight arm, and then lower your shoulder away from your ear. Good. So stretching through the back of the arm. Good, and release. We're gonna switch out the legs. So bring that right leg on bottom, left leg on top. For cow face, legs working towards stacking the knees. And then we're gonna switch the arms. So bring that right arm on top, left hand to right elbow, or left hand to a strap, or strap in both hands, or clasp. Wait, is this the same arms? Okay, sorry. Left arm up and over. I was like, that feels familiar. So switch out the arm. So right hand is on the bottom now. Work toward a straight spine, and then option to forward fold. About 3 more breaths here. Release from the fold if you're folded forward, and then just bring that left arm across the body. Right hand's gonna come to the elbow or the back of the arm. Work toward a straight arm, hug the arm in. All right. Other arm. Why am I so backwards? That's so funny. All right, lower your right shoulder away from your ear. Last breath. And release. Okay. Make your way back to downward facing dog. We're going to continue on in our standing series. In downward facing dog, reconnect to your Ujjayi breath. Last full breath here. All right, so a little bit of breath to movement here. Take that right leg high. We're gonna squeeze that right knee to the nose one more time. So squeeze it, right leg high, inhale, and then step through low lunge, exhale. Keep that back heel off the floor. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two, open it up. Inhale, reverse warrior, left hand slides down that left leg, and exhale, extended side angle. So right fingertips to the floor, left fingertips up toward the sky. Okay, so this is a great place to practice our binds. So option number one, take that left hand to your right hip, half bind. Open that left shoulder, take the gaze up. Option for a full bind, you can reach that right arm underneath the right leg and work toward the clasp. If we take the clasp, be sure to roll that shoulder open and shine the chest to the side. Good, these look really nice. Continue to lift that left shoulder up for one more breath. Come back to extended side angle without the bind, and then inhale up to five-pointed star. Exhale, hands to heart, sink down into your squat, and then inhale, rise back up to five-pointed star. We're gonna take chest expansion, so take your hands behind your back, take your heels behind your toes, open through the throat and chest, and then hinge at the hips, forward folding. 2 more breaths. Inhale, come up to a halfway lift, release your hands to the floor, and then walk your hands to the right. So low lunge on your right leg. Good, and then inhale back to crescent lunge. So same leg. Exhale, come into full airplane pose. So lift that left leg off the floor, extend your fingertips back towards your heel, lift through the chest, hold here for one more breath. Very slowly, bring that left leg through without touching down. Bring your hands to your heart and cross your left ankle over your right knee. So we're gonna come into standing pigeon pose. Start to sink down in the hips, but keep the chest lifted. Keep a steady gaze on the floor. Take another full breath here. So we're gonna make the transition from standing pigeon into eagle pose. So you're just gonna start to slide this left leg up and over, working toward the wrap, and it's okay if you don't have the wrap, you can take that toe onto the floor, and then you're gonna take your right arm underneath your left. So you have a couple options here. If you can't make the bind, you can take your hands to your shoulders. You can take the backs of your hands and touch them, or you can wrap all the way around and connect the palms of the hands. Good, so hold steady here, keep a steady gaze on the floor, and then we're gonna play with the shoulders a little bit. So first, we're gonna draw the elbows down and in, so you feel a stretch on the tops of your shoulders. One more breath here. Now bring your elbows up and out. So you should feel a big stretch in your upper back. Complete the exhale here. Now come into chair pose, last push for this leg, hands to heart. One more inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Good, shake it out. All right, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. You can step or float back, or you can just meet in downward facing dog. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath here. Inhale, take that left leg high, breath to movement. Exhale, knee to nose, tuck it in. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose, step through, low lunge. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two, open it up. Inhale, reverse warrior, up and back. Exhale, extended side angle. Left fingertips to the floor, a block. Right hand up toward the sky. Option number one, cactus the arm, come into a half bind. Right hand to left hip. Option number two, full bind. Left arm underneath left thigh, work toward the clasp. Roll that right shoulder open, shine your chest to the side. Maybe look up to the sky. Good. Come back to extended side angle. Inhale, 5-pointed star, rise up. Exhale, prayer squat. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Draw the knees open. Toes point out at an angle. Tailbone draws down and shoulders are right over hips. Last full breath. Good. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, heels behind toes and come forward. Any arm variation this time. Any arm variation that you'd like. You can reach for your heels. You can take your hands underneath your shoulders. If you want another chest expansion, that's an option as well. 2 more breaths. All right, so come up to a halfway lift like you're doing monkey pose. We're gonna keep the left hand on the floor and sweep that right arm up. Now try to keep your hips level instead of hiking that right hip up and twisting from the base of the spine. All right, option again, take it into a half bind. Reach that left hand or the right hand to the left hip, roll your right shoulder open and look up toward the sky. And unwind, release. Switch sides, so left hand reaches up, try to keep the hips level, and then option for the bind. You can take that left hand, reach toward the right hip, and then roll that left shoulder open, maybe take the gaze up toward the sky. And unwind and release. Walk your hands to the front of your mat, so your low lunge on the left leg, and then inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. So same leg here. Let's balance now. So exhale, airplane. Step forward, lift that right leg off the floor. Reach your fingertips back toward your heels. Hold here for another breath. All 5 toes pointed toward the mat. Head is in line with the spine. Very slowly come through. We're gonna come into standing pigeon. So bring your hands to your heart. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Sit low into your hips like you're coming into chair pose. Keep your chest lifted, thumbs by your sternum, 5 toes flexed back towards your right knee. Complete the exhale here, and then we'll transition into eagle pose. So you're gonna start to wrap the legs tightly. Right toes are gonna come around the left ankle, or they can touch down on the floor. Left arm comes underneath the right, and either hands to your shoulders, backs of the hands touch, or palms. Draw the elbows down and in first. Nice tight compression under your arms. Good, and then start to draw your elbows out and up. So you should feel a nice big opening between your shoulder blades. Last breath, you've got this. And this time extend your arms up and come into chair pose. Just for one more breath, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Good, shake it out. Rock the hips side to side. And then on the inhale, halfway lift. Optional vinyasa. We'll meet back at downward facing dog. Good, and then lower your knees onto the floor. We're gonna do some core work with some shoulder opening. So we already did eagle on our feet. We're gonna do eagle on our back now. So go ahead, make your way down onto your back. Grab a sip if you want. All right, so we're gonna take the right knee up and over the left leg first. Once again, you can work the wrap, but it's not necessary. And then take your right arm underneath your left for eagle arms. Okay, so find a nice tight squeeze here. And then we're gonna reach the elbows towards the knees towards the elbows, so lift your feet off the floor, lift your shoulders off the floor. There you go. Hold here. And then we're just going to tap down and lift and lower for 10. And this is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and unwind. Bring your feet to hip distance apart. Hands, fingertips reaching toward your heels. We're going to take bridge pose with chest expansion. So press into your heels and then lift your hips off the floor. You can hold here in bridge pose, or you can take your hands and interlace your fingers underneath your hips, rolling onto the backs of your arms. This will give you a beautiful chest expansion, opening up through the front side of your body. Keep your chest driving toward your chin, but your chin driving away from your chest, so your neck is nice and long. And one more inhale, lift a little bit higher, and then slowly release down onto the floor. So eagle legs on the left, so take your left leg up and over, maybe wrapping the toes around the ankle, and then your left arm underneath your right. Lift your shoulders and your feet off the floor and touch elbows to knees. Hold here for 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna lift and lower for 10. Just tap your shoulders, tap your toes. Halfway there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. And press your tailbone down. Good. And then we're just gonna take one rock and we're gonna come up into boat pose. So pause and boat and hold here. Reach your fingertips towards your toes. Good for 3 more breaths. Last push for our core. Last full breath. Keep that chest lifted and release. We're gonna come down onto our stomach. We're gonna do some more spine strengtheners with some shoulder and chest opening here. All right, so go ahead and bring your feet to about hip distance apart, your arms to about shoulder distance apart. Okay, so this is gonna be purely spine strengthening for now. So keep your head in line with your spine and go ahead and lift everything. Good, yeah, press back through the balls of your feet. Just take one more breath here. We're gonna move into Asana Bow Pose. So bend both legs, reach your hands around for the outsides of your feet. Good, now bring your knees back into line with your hips. Press your feet into your hands and open through your chest and your shoulders. 2 more breaths. Kick a little bit harder. And release. Take your right ear to the mat, arms alongside the body, and rest. And bring your chin back to the mat. Bring your feet to hip distance apart, arms off to the side. Last spine strengthener. Lift your arms and your feet off the floor. Try to get your fingertips to the height of the top of your head. Good. And then just really open through your chest, focusing on drawing your shoulders away from your ears. 2 more breaths. Last inhale. And left ear to the mat and rest. 5 breaths. Let go of any tension. Slow the breath. Bring all of your awareness back to being present on your mat. Good, and let's make our way back to downward facing dog for our last few standing postures. Reconnect to your Ujjayi breath. Last full breath here. All right, let's flow. So right leg, inhale, lifts up, three-legged dog, exhale, knee to nose. Last time through our flow, right leg high, inhale, step through, low lunge, exhale. Crescent, inhale, exhale, warrior two. We're gonna go right into five-pointed star, inhale, exhale, prayer squat. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, prasarita, come all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge to the front of your mat, onto your right leg. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, standing staff. Left leg up and through, reach your arms high. Exhale, come into tree pose. Okay, so opportunity in tree to open the shoulders. You can take your hands behind your back. Reach opposite hand toward opposite elbow, or come into reverse namaste. So bringing the palms of the hands to touch. Open through the chest and lower the shoulders away from the ears. If you're in reverse prayer, press your pinkies into your spine. 5 more breaths. Keep a nice steady gaze. Right knee should be lifting. Pressing that right thigh into the foot. Engage through the core. Last breath. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way down. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts, knee to nose. Left leg inhale, step through, low lunge, exhale. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, right to five-pointed star. Exhale, prayer squat, sink down, hands to your heart. Five-pointed inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Hinge at the hips, heels behind toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, low lunge to the front of your mat. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, come through, standing staff. And then exhale, tree. Different or same arm variation. Bring that right foot to left inner thigh or calf. Focus on opening through your chest and shoulders, whatever arm variation you've chosen. Keep the core engaged. Last inhale. Exhale, mountain. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, open up. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take one full breath in downward facing dog. And come to a seat. Make your way down onto your back. Take a sip on the way if you'd like. We're gonna take one more chest opener and back bend. So you have the option, you have 3 options. You can take another round of bridge. I will walk you through wheel, or if both of those sound unappealing and you'd like to take camel, you can take camel. Camel's up on your shins. We open the chest, okay? Otherwise, I'm gonna walk you through wheel pose. So go ahead and bring your heels towards your hips. Flip your hands up and over by your ears. Elbows draw in. Lift up the hips and then press gently up onto the crown of the head. Position your arms so your elbows stay in, and then press your arms towards straight. Focus on the opening in the chest and the shoulders. Three more breaths wherever you are. Slowly lower down. And then just let your knees rest toward one another. Gentle release from wheel pose. Good, and then slowly start to draw your knees in toward your chest. All right, and then for our inversion today, option to take shoulder stands. So with your knees drawn into your chest, you can just roll your hips off the floor, take your hands to low back and lift your feet up overhead. Keep your neck nice and long and your gaze up toward your toes. So don't look side to side here. And then hold here for 2 more breaths. And slowly lower down. 1 vertebra at a time, coming all the way down onto your back. And then bend your legs and take your feet to the floor. And we'll take this into a twist. So bring your arms to goalpost or capital T and release your knees to the right and gaze to the left. Take some nice deep belly breaths here. And then come back towards center and release your knees in the opposite direction and gaze in the opposite direction as your knees. Take 1 more full breath here. And then come back towards center, hug your knees into your chest. Anything else you'd like to take before Shavasana, feel free to do that. When you're ready, you have a cool towel next to your head, and you can place it onto your forehead or your throat, your chest, or you don't have to use it if you don't want to. When you're settling into Shavasana, feel free to move around, wiggle out any kinks or tension. Settle with a deep breath. And then you can let go of your breath entirely, coming back to the natural rhythm of the breath. And just get really soft and quiet here. Find just a moment of stillness to close our practice. Start to deepen the breathing. Start to awaken the body by wiggling the fingers and toes. Rolling the wrists and the ankles. Working into a full body stretch, reaching the arms up overhead, stretching from fingertips to toes. And then slowly making your way onto your side, cradling the head and the arm, drawing the knees in toward the chest. And just taking a final moment before we move off of our mat to acknowledge our practice, to thank ourselves for making our way here this morning, starting our day in this most awesome of ways, connecting to the breath, connecting to the body. And then set an intention for your day and make your way all the way up to a seat. And we'll close together with one final breath. So bring your hands to your heart, sit up nice and tall, inhale through the nose, fill all the way up. Hold it at the top, and when you're ready, let it go through the mouth. Today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. Namaste.